Hi there, how are you?
Hey, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
So what's your name?
Sanjay Gupta. Not to be confused with the doctor on CNN, although I have three doctors in my family. But I'm quite happy where I'm at.
So you are a doctor too?
No, I'm actually, how should I say, I heal people with my music. Um, and I couldn't be happier.
So are you saying you are a musician?
Absolutely, 100%. Uh, Bona fide musician. No, I didn't take any training. Whatever I have, it's God's gift, and this passion that burns inside me that drives me every day. I wake up, I think about music, and when I go to sleep, I think about music. Music is beyond passion for me.
So you are carrying music in your heart.
I'm carrying music in my bloodstream. And there is no lineage in my family. Nobody is a musician in my family. So I'm the odd man out in a good way.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So where did your musical journey begin?
That's a great question because you see, you have to understand my background. I was born in India, but I was raised here in New York. So I got the best of the both worlds, if you know what I mean. And with respect to music, my musical journey began here in New York, where I grew up on rock and roll. And then my father, being a doctor that he is, he saw me going to the dark side, meaning rock and roll, bad boy rock and roll. And he shipped me off to India, I guess for brainwashing, So, and it worked for a while because I got into Bollywood music, and it was quite good. I learned a lot of new things, and it enabled me to do things that I'm doing now as far as technicalities are concerned, as far as singing, all right, and met some wonderful folks along the way.
Oh wow, that sounds amazing. And do you have a band back then?
That's an interesting story because when I started off singing, first of all, I didn't know I had the talent, okay? And in my family, as I told you, I have three doctors. None of them encouraged me, or they said, hey, you can sing. No, it had to be actually people from the outside, my friends. I was humming one day on a front microphone, and people said, hey, you have a decent voice, maybe you should try. And they encouraged me to sing, and next you know, I started singing. And then I tried to join a couple bands, and what happened was that for some reason they did not accept me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's competition, but that really fueled the fire within me. Because I can't take no for an answer if you get to know me. And if one door was shut, I opened another door. So what I ended up doing is creating my own band. And we did so well back then doing Bollywood cover songs. And we went from city to city and met wonderful folks and the public, and it was just pure joy, the times that we had. And I have nothing but fond memories of Indian film music.
Wow, that sounds really cool. I also was reading about you write your own music.
Yeah, with respect to writing music, growing up, like I said, in an Indian culture, if you know anything about the Indian music industry, it's like 100 or 80%, 85% soundtracks for movies, Bollywood movies. So if you're an independent artist like me, there's not much scope to work with because they don't have the culture over there as far as cultivating and encouraging independent artists, people who write their own material, compared to here in New York or anywhere else in the world, in London, where you have an audience who is willing to listen to fresh music, original music. So I was inspired to write my own songs because you can only do so much cover songs and not grow. So as an artist, I wanted to grow. I don't want to be remembered as a cover singer. I wanted to do my own things, write my own music, and I wouldn't have it any other way looking back. I mean, those were a wonderful time doing cover songs, but nothing beats doing your own original songs. It's like your own baby, or babies, plural, okay? And that's where I'm at.
Wow, that's really inspiring. I see that you like to go beyond your comfort zone, beyond the box. I see that you recorded music in Spanish. So who inspired you to do this?
Wow, that's a good question because I used to hang out with my Latino friends here in New York, and we would go to bars or performance places, and we would hear DJ playing a lot of great Latin rock music, okay, and that inspired me to look outside the box. And one of the songs the DJ played wherever we went was this famous song called Mente Boliviano. So when I heard that song, when you hear people, thousands of people, when the DJ plays a song and they sing in the chorus and in unison and exuberance, I'm like, wow, it's pretty infectious. I asked my friends, what is the song about? Who's the song and who sang it? I mean, then they told me the story, and I was like, wow. Then I reached out to my buddy Ashwani, and I said, it would be wonderful. That song is so great. I love the hook line. It's very catchy. It would be great to write that song or do a cover of it in Hindi. And somehow we managed to do the cover of it in Hindi, and it turned out really well. And aside from that, I also went to Colombia. My travels to South America. I met a wonderful gentleman named John Henry Beltran in Cartagena, Colombia, and he is a wonderful musician over there. And he says, Sanjay, why don't we do a collaboration? Do some original music in Spanish. I said yes. I jumped at the opportunity, and then when it dawned on me, I said, wait a minute, sing in Spanish? I said, oh my God, what am I getting myself into? It's insane. I'm like, look, my native language is Hindi, and I speak a little bit of Punjabi and English. All right, it's my second language, I would say, and I didn't know any Spanish back then, and I was actually sweating bricks. I'm like, wow, I agreed to this project. But if you get to know me, when I say yes to a project, I follow through with it. I say, you know what? I said yes to this gentleman here. I'm gonna go ahead and do my best, give my 110%. And so we ended up producing a track, a CD actually. It's called Vive el Sueño, where we have about 5 original songs in Hispanic language, like pop rock. And it was a great journey for me there. Met some great folks, and doing this album, it was amazing because you were doing something outside the box. Something, a road less traveled, and not an easy path. But once I'd done it, I felt like I was on top of the mountain. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'd done it. And that's what, led me to this place.
Wow, I see that you did so well. It went so great that you even performed with the legendary Argentinian rock band, Enanito Verdes. How did that come about?
Yeah, so if you recall, I had mentioned about La Mente Boliviano, the song. It was recorded originally by Enanito Verdes. And when we did the cover, we recorded the cover, Ashwani, my friend Ashwani, he went to one of the concerts that Enanito Verdes were playing in Manhattan. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, I get the call from Ashwani, hey Sanjay, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm downtown. And he was like way uptown. He goes, drop everything. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Get over here to this, what he call performance space. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, Enanito Verdes is here. I'm like, what, really? And they want to talk to you. I'm like, really? Wow. I couldn't believe it. Let you know, I ended up going over there, meeting Felipe Esteti, the producer, guitarist, composer, and Marciano, the frontman for Enanito Verdes. And they offered me to sing the following day, the next day, the day I met. I'm like, wait, you want me to sing the next day with you guys? And next thing you know, I was singing the next day with this legendary band. You know, everybody who's from South America, Central America, they know about this band. All right, it's like legendary, and to see a whole hall full of screaming fans, it was beyond. And they had me sing "Lamento Boliviano" in Hindi while they sang it in Spanish, and people went nuts when they realized that I was singing their song in Hindi. And we ended up having great friendship. Felipe Stati became my best friend, and he was kind enough to let me record a couple of his hit songs in Hindi. Okay, and we did a demo album called Crossroad, and we have a couple of songs in there that is originally done by Enanito Verdes, and we recorded them in Hindi, where Felipe flew to New York to record with us here. And it was so kind of him, very nice of him, and I couldn't say enough good things about that band. Really down to earth people.
Wow, that's really amazing. I know who the band are. Like, I remember since I was a kid, like they were playing the music in all radio stations everywhere. And the song you're talking about, Lamento Boliviano, it was like everywhere.
It's like national anthem. Everybody knows that song in the back of their heads.
Yeah, exactly. and you singing that song in Hindi. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, you gotta take a listen to it. You know?
Wow, so good. So, who are some of your greatest influences?
Well, if you recall the story when I was in India, when I was a kid, I should say, you know, growing up, and the influences, you might not know them, like Muhammad Rafi to Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, and Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan's from Pakistan, vecinos, my neighboring country, and prior to that, like I said, I was into rock and roll, Kiss band. Then coming back, they say that your first love never really goes away, right? Your first love. So my first love was rock and roll. No matter how much my father tried to suppress it. I mean, Indian music is great. Indian classical music is great. But what you really love is gonna have to rise up like the cream in a soda or in a beer, right? The cream rises to the top, and that was rock and roll. I ended up coming back to rock and roll, reminiscing. I'm going back in time, discovering music of the great legendary band like the Doors, Jim Morrison, amazing, Rolling Stones, you name it, and to Nirvana, who else? The Nine Inch Nails, Radiohead, Enanito Verdes. These are some of the most, how should I say, artists that I look up to. I'm sure I forgot some of these artists I forgot to mention. Besides Nirvana, that other couple of bands that I really look up to and I'm very fond of. And I learned a lot. Actually, I learned a lot as far as techniques, sounds to use, etc. It's a great process. It's like growing as a musician, going from rock and roll to Bollywood music, even classical music, Middle Eastern music, Hispanic music. You're talking about salsa, bolero, bachata. So awesome experience, exposure here in New York. Listening to, where else can you listen? All types of music, right? And I took a little bit of here, a little bit of there, the best of everything, and incorporated into my music. Life is, I would say, is huge, and you have to get out of your comfort zone to appreciate what the other side is about, what the other culture is about. And I feel very lucky and honored, you know, for where I'm at right now.
Wow, that's really amazing. So you have been like a really expanding with your music, the music from all over the world, and it's so amazing to see how you're following your heart and doing what you love, following the music and bringing putting a different taste into the music also, because like you are mixing from different cultures, so that's like creating something unique. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I wouldn't have it any other way. Uh, like I said, you know, you want to grow as an artist. You don't want to be stagnant. You don't want to be known as this particular style of singer. If you recall Prince, if he never described his music, the artist Prince. You know, someday he would play rock, someday he would play pop, he would play, you know, different type of music. So I don't want to be labeled, you know. But I like I said, if you ask me what's close to your heart, I would say rock and roll.
Wow, that's nice. So where do you go from here?
You know, as far as music is concerned, with this coronavirus, there's a lot of misery going around, a lot of death that went around, and luckily, touch wood, for me personally, it was the opposite. It's like somebody opened the faucet of creativity, and if you were to ask me, Sanjay, can you write in English as far as the lyrics are concerned? I would say, I'm sorry, it's not possible. But through the years of, you know, my great friends from Colombia, great musicians from Guatemala, okay, Felipe, you name it. What do you call it? Andres Almar from Chile, great artist, and they all encouraged me, Sanjay, you can do it if you put your mind to it. We all have it in us. And would you believe, during this lockdown, I wrote not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 songs. 5 songs in English. And of the 5, 2 are complete. I am so excited about it. I mean, beyond my expectations. I'm like, wow, incredible. And the moral of the story is, for all your kids out there, if you put your mind to something, you're gonna do it. If you just say, you know what, I want to get this done. I'm gonna conquer this, whatever it is, whether it's fear or project or studies. If you put your mind to it, the universe will make it happen for you. The universe will make it happen for you, and I'm a living example of that. And I'll tell you, as far as music is concerned, my life is just beginning, and I'm excited about it, and we'll soon share good stuff with you.
Wow, that's really amazing. And all the stories have been very inspiring, and also the part that you mentioned about the lockdown. During that time, you wrote 5 songs.
Yeah.
Wow. 2020 has been a harsh year for mostly everyone, but also has been a year where people have been awakening their creativity, their talent, and that's very inspiring to see this, and also for you to creating this, to share the music, healing with the music, because the music is medicine. So I want to really thank you for taking the time for this interview and for sharing the music with all of us, and I hope your story is going to inspire many people.
Well, I want to thank you, my friend, for allowing me this interview, and pretty soon you guys are going to be hearing from me soon.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. Be safe, and just be careful. We just can't be more careful enough. And this year, I can't wait for it to be over. A new beginning is around the corner as the dawn begins for all of us. So stay positive.